So what does buff Rina do exactly? She now gives 576 attack, basically like carrying a small Lucy in her purse with her. 468 defense, foreshadowing a future defense scaling DPS perhaps? And her pen ratio buff has now become whole. Now she can give full 30% pen ratio buff on M0 and 39% on M1. Anastella and Drusilla also becomes more proactive while off-field, attacking periodically just like Lucy Burst. This makes her signature passive uptime close to 100%, and I think this should have been the case from the start. Considering Yuzuha can utilize Cradle with full uptime, Rina should have been able to fully use her own signature. And there's also some rotational changes that I've found after her potential buff. Hurdle's off-field electric ball attack can trigger chain attack instantly once you swap to her. This can be useful, since in rotation crafting, a fast chain trigger is really good, like Yuzuha's special tap for example. The faster you trigger chain, the more time you can spend to deal damage, right? But it can also be annoying if this happens when you don't intend to trigger chain immediately, so keep that in mind. Also, I haven't really found any practical application for this, but it could be useful someday. Her EX specials now also instantly trigger chain attack on hit. One thing that I don't like from Rina pre-buff kit is that her EX specials takes a lot of time to trigger chain attack, making you need to avoid using her chain trigger. It feels bad because now you are being restricted in your rotation crafting option. Now you might think, so what? Rina become a bit stronger in buffing capability, but the endgame boss enemy power level also becomes higher. So in the scheme of things, they kinda cancel each other out. And I think there's some truth to that. Rina's initial design is a clear old character kit. She is clunky, her buff uptime is annoying to manage at M0, and honestly Rina pre-buff is generally worse than Nicole. There's also design pattern happening where every limited support agents becomes easier and easier to use. So pre-buff Rina, as clunky as she is really bad for her viability. JCC meta and combat design has changed a lot after 2 seasons. With new boss mechanics, new agents ability mechanics, and higher power level, I think updating Rina kit, an old character, to be able to match the current meta is the least that the dev should do. And I also don't think this Rina buff makes the dev deserve unconditional praise. It's clear that they want to buff Rina, but also want to keep her power level a bit lower than the current meta limited support. But if we assess Rina kit based on her own gameplay feel, I think she's now a way better character than before. It's still a good potential buff. She will become meta once the defense scaling DPS release, since she is the only option for defense buffing right now, but it will probably only last until the defense buffing Astra came out. Now quick build talk about Rina. Nothing changed because of the potential buff. Use Moonlight 4-piece or Astral 4-piece if there's already a support with Moonlight on the team. Like in this video, Suna already hold Moonlight, so Rina is on Astral. Puffer 2-piece, Pen D5 and ER-D6 is a must. For substats and this 4, honestly you can use whatever you want. It doesn't matter. If you are playing Rina with Electric Anomaly like Yanagi or Grace, then you should build Rina like an Anomaly character. AP D4, attack percent and AP substats, but otherwise anything goes. If you don't have Cradle, Kaboom is her second best. This is her only 2 valid engine option right now. For Mindscape, the only 2 impactful one is her M1, better pen buffing and better uptime. This one can increase your DA score and overall performance considerably. And her M6, 15% electric damage is a small upgrade for electric DPS team, not that impactful for how much investment you need to get it though. R5ing her signature is a more effective upgrade than getting her M6. Now let's talk about viability. How good exactly Rina with Shunguang? 6 months ago, Shunguang Rina easily kills UCC with Zhao as field deployer. But since then, UCC has got even beefier with 60 million more HP. Right now, even after Rina buff, this time it barely about to touch 60k. And I think it's not really a bad score considering all things. But before you invest on building Rina for your Shunguang, maybe if you are new, I have to be honest with you, UCC is the only good matchup for this team. The only reason this team get 10 transformation here is because of the free decibels. If we are fighting other bosses like Pompeii, Defiler, or Creator, it will go down to about 8 transform at best. 2 less transformation for Shunguang will make the gap between Rina team score to Dailin or Zhao Suna team score quite a lot, more than 6k maybe. Creator is even worse matchup because Rina pen buff is not effective against half defense boss. And maybe Rina Shunguang also good for some Shiyu stages now, but that's pretty much it. But this is still a fully functional and good Shunguang team. I would still recommend this team. Though you also have to understand that UCC is easier for this team, so the performance is a bit better than other bosses. And we are going to talk more about this team rotation versus UCC after this. But if you are seeking more resources on Shunguang rotation, I would also recommend you my Shunguang Zhao Suna rotation guide. One thing you gotta keep in mind first in Shunguang team is stack generation. It is what determines how many transformations you get. More transformations equals more damage. For this team where Suna is the sole fail deployer, you can get 3 stack from her EX more or less every 20 seconds. At the start, this puts Shunguang halfway through into her first transformation. There will be time where Shunguang doesn't need stacks from Suna. For example, her disable ultimate is ready, then she can enter transformation by herself. But to get 3 more stack for the first transform here, all Shunguang could do is buy her EX or basic attack. Her EX special is straightforward, plus 1 stack. But the energy cost is quite steep, and we still need 2 more stack here. A full basic attack string can give more or less 1 stack for Shunguang. But there is a better and effective way for a stack generation by basic attack. That is by dash cancelling her basic attack 2 where she throws swords horizontally at the enemy. By doing this basic attack 2, dash cancel, basic attack 2, repeat, Shunguang basic attack stack generation becomes way faster. Since now, she skips the long full basic attack animation, but just that may not be enough. One other way to generate a lot of stacks in a short time is by Shunguang's special dodge. When Shunguang doesn't have any energy, if you tap special right when the enemy attacks, Shunguang will go into her special dodge. You don't need to tap dodge here, just tap special. With this basic attack cancel and special dodge, Shunguang here can get 6 stacks for her first transform 20 seconds into the fight. But there's also a use case for them. The basic attack dash cancel and special dodge is effective for generating her stack, but it generates less energy actively. The special dodge especially generates no energy at all. So in some cases in this run, you can find me doing the full basic attack even though the animation takes more time, but it also makes Shunguang next EX special came a bit faster. Can be important for your stack management, but what's really important that you must always remember is never overspend Suna EX for stack generation. For example, here Shunguang still has 1 stack in reserve. Remember, Shunguang can only save 3 stack in reserve at a time at M0. It's okay for Suna to double EX while Shunguang is saving no stacks in her transformation. But in this case, you shouldn't deploy Suna Ether Fill, because if so, then you will be wasting 1 stack. 1 stack is not much maybe, but it could slow you down a lot in the rotation just to get 1 more stack when you don't have to. Now let's talk about Rina buffing uptime. She does have quite a short duration of buff uptime, about 5 or 6 seconds I think at M0, and a lot longer at M1 where you basically don't need to worry about it anymore. But you don't need M1 Rina to make Shunguang rotation work. Here's the important part. First, use Rina EX to quick assist before Shunguang enter Y state. This refresh her pen buff and also refresh Astral Voice stack. Important to keep in mind in your rotation. Shunguang does her combo as usual, and at the end when she closes her white state, immediately swap to Rina just to basic attack for buff refresh. You don't need her EX specials for it, you just need to make her attack the enemy. And then swap to Suna, basic attack to generate her energy maybe, or use her EX specials, and continue maintaining your rotation. I technically didn't need to do this because my Rina is M1 and her potential buff alleviate her buff uptime problem a bit, but it was a force of habit. In case of Shunguang big ultimate, you cannot swap cancel to Rina to refresh her buff during this long ultimate animation. So in this case, you have to swap cancel to Rina on Shunguang last slash to refresh her buff by attacking or also refreshing Astral Voice stack by EX special. Then use Shunguang big ultimate to finish the combo. In short, you don't need Rina M1 to do the rotation with full buff uptime. And one last note for this run is decibel management and leg impair buff management. Every leg impair gives a free 1000 decibels for the on-field agent, so you have to always make sure Shunguang is the one breaking the leg. Rina and Suna doesn't need the 1000 decibels. At the end of Shunguang first transform here, she will almost get her full 3000 decibels for an ultimate after 1 leg break, so make sure to avoid breaking another leg in this situation. It is better to use Shunguang ultimate after this, breaking another leg with it. Now the 1000 decibels is received fully, fast-tracking the next Shunguang decibel ultimate. And every leg impair also gives a substantial amount of crit damage buff, with a duration of 20 seconds and will be refreshed every leg impair. The best strategy is to space out the leg impair so the buff lasts as long as possible. It will eventually run out mid first stun because we can refresh the duration inside stun with this team. That's okay. One example here, after the first stun recovery, Shunguang break 2 legs, doing her rotation like usual. Careful to not impact the last leg here because Shunguang decibels is almost full. Then before the 2 stack of buffs runs out, go to the 3rd leg and break it with Shunguang ultimate. Now the buff will last for another 20 seconds and no decibel is wasted. My routine is to break 3 legs, stun 1, break the 3 remaining legs, then stun 2. Adding this double triple divide of buff stack is better than just maxing the stack with 4 leg break from the start.